you. Let's get some breakfast in you. Nom, nom, nom. Good morning. Want some coffee? I'll fix you some cereal. Oh, one look at you, boy. You could really use some coffee to wake you up. Come on, Jamie.
Not only did I get in late, I stayed up till 2 o'clock this morning working on that brief. The brief had to be ready this afternoon. The question is, am I going to be ready?
Draper, you should have gone to bed last night. I told you last night, the one thing you owe your clients is at least to be alert.
Yeah, well, it was my choice to work late. You ought to be thankful. At least you don't hear me complaining anymore about your long hours.
Look, Draper, if you insist on working this hard just to pay Margot back, you are going to give yourself a nervous breakdown.
My nerves are going to be fine. The minute I can hand Margot a check for $35,000, I'm going to be steady as a rock.
I'll get it, Nancy. Hello?
Mr. Carr.
Yes, who's this?
Phillip Seward, Mr. Carr. Were you rushing to the office?
No, Mr. Seward. I don't plan to leave for about an hour. Are you in Monticello?
Yes, I am, just as I said I would be. As a matter of fact, I was rather hoping we could meet today.
Well, my schedule's a bit rough today. I have to be in court until at least 3 o'clock, and then I have a meeting with another client. Would this evening be all right?
Well, no, I have to get a 5 p.m. flight back to New York. Listen, what about right now? Do you have a few minutes? I'm not far from your house.
Yes, that would be all right.
I really would like to get your opinion about this situation. About why Draper Scott's not going to New York also. I'll be right over. I'll try not to keep either of you from your jobs very long. As I wrote you in my letter, I'm still very disturbed about what happened in New York.
Well, I can assure you, so is Draper.
Yes, I'm sure that's true. I feel very guilty about the whole thing. Not because I proposed the idea to Draper. I mean, I still believe I did the right thing.
You proved you had a good eye for legal talent, Mr. Seward.
Thank you. But I also did something else, Mr. Carr. Something that I'm not very proud of. The night before Draper returned to Monticello, I went to his hotel room. I practically handed him the job. I told him there was virtually no doubt but that it was his.
But you were premature.
I'm afraid so.
You mentioned that only one of the partners refused to approve his hiring. Is that correct?
That is correct. One person, David Hansen, senior partner, highly regarded, and for some reason, David turns thumbs down on your friend Draper.
Do you have any idea why?
Well, of course, we asked David what his objections were. He said that he had made some inquiries on his own about the young man, and that the facts that he had discovered disturbed him.
Do you know what those facts were?
Well, here David gets a little vague. He talked about youth, inexperience, but also about a tendency to rash decisions, callow behavior.
Oh, for goodness sakes, that's ridiculous. They aren't facts, that's opinion, and wrong opinion. Oh, how could he get those ideas? He doesn't even know Draper.
Nancy, Mr. Seward, I agree with my wife. I've worked closely with Draper now for 3 years, and I don't believe that any of those charges are justified.
No, I know they have no standing as fact. They are opinion. But obviously the opinion of someone that David Hansen trusted. Yes. You're asking the question that I asked. Who? Who would say all those negative things about Draper Scott?
You mentioned in your letter that Mr. Hansen was acquainted with Margot Huntington.
Margot Huntington was a major client of David's around a decade ago. And from what I understand, they were also very close personal friends.
You do know now that she's Draper's mother-in-law.
Well, I know since I had the talk with David. Frankly, Mrs. Carr, I have come to think that the only person that could have made those statements is Miss Huntington.
Mrs. Dorn, now, actually.
It's incredible that she could do something like that.
Yes, I thought it was incredible, too. Well, you might as well know the rest of it. At the hospital where David was recuperating, there's a very gossipy nurse. She informed me that David had placed calls to Monticello and to a Mrs. Dorn.
Good Lord.
And that's why I was hoping you could enlighten me. You see, I don't know the woman. I don't know her relationship to Draper. But can you tell me, is there any reason why Mrs. Dorn would want to hurt her son-in-law?
Yeah, who is it? Hey, Vicky, it's Elliot. I'm glad you're home. I'm sorry to barge in on you like this, but I'm really out of my wits on what to do with myself. What do you mean? Hey, it's kind of hard to explain. I don't have a place to stay. I can't go home, seeing my wife thinks I'm on a fishing trip.
Well, where are you supposed to be, Mr. Dorn? I mean, where were you?
Well, you see, I was at a friend's place, Mickey. A friend whose husband decided to drop in, if you get the picture.
Yeah, I think I get it.
So I was wondering if maybe you could put me up for a few days until I get a chance to think what... Hey, I'm getting a strange picture myself. You going someplace?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I'm leaving Monticello for good.
You're what?
Yeah, look, I was going to call and tell you I was quitting and all that, but, I just thought it was a good time to split.
I'm sorry to hear that, Mickey. I thought you were happy at the Unicorn.
Well, I was happy, but, like I said, I'm a restless guy, and I just figured it's time to move on.
I see.
Look, I'd be happy to let you have this place, but the landlady has rented it out right after I told her I was leaving.
Well, I think there's nothing left for me to do but to go home.
You think your breakfast was delicious? I'm exhausted.
Honey, I've got to get going.
Oh, okay. Listen, would you please promise me that you will not work late tonight?
I'll try. I
Thank
don't
you.
know if I'll get that.
Draper?
Hello.
It's the front door.
Oh. Logan. What the hell are you doing here?
Come in?
Yeah, sure.
I just wanted to check on Jamie. Is he all right?
Yeah, he's fine. I thought you were up in the boonies making speeches.
No,
Yeah, go on in.
I made my one and only speech for
Hello,
today.
Logan.
How you doing, Tiger?
What's going on? What are you doing here? Where's Raven? Was she sick?
No, she's all right. It's just I'm back in Monticello. I thought I'd come over and pick up my little boy.
Oh. You're not going to do anything of the kind. You're not going to take my child anywhere, Logan Swift.
Now, what the hell is going on here?
No, I mean, what happened? You two were supposed to be away for a week. We decided to call it off. We decided to call everything off.
Now, look, if you're having some sort of quarrel, maybe
No,
we...
it's not a quarrel. I'm sorry. And you know what I'm sorry for. But now we got to think about Jamie. As long as we're both here, he belongs with us.
Hey, what about me, too? I mean, remember me? I'm the one who took some time off from work.
No,
to take care of
don't
the
worry,
kid.
April. That's exactly what you're going to do because Jamie is going to stay right here.
That's not necessary
That's
anymore.
what I want, and that's what I'm going to do, and I can do anything I want because Jamie is my child. You understand? He's my child, Logan, not yours.
Now, hold it. Why don't we all sit down and talk this over?
There's nothing to discuss. You're both lawyers. You know my legal rights.
Don't you be stupid about this. And for God's sake, we don't have to argue in front of them and in front of Jamie.
You don't want to argue, you can leave. But Jamie stays here.
We'll see about that.
And you can just tear up the adoption papers. Do you hear me? Because you're not going to adopt my son. So you just tear him up, Logan. You can't